Crowdfund Genius Take 1.
Welcome back to another episode of CrowdFund Genius. I'm your host, ZACBOB, and host of our new podcast, Season 3, which is coming out next month, January 2016. Season 3 of CrowdFund Genius, the podcast, will be in iTunes and Stitcher Radio. So make sure you're subscribing. And if you haven't heard an episode, go back and listen to the very first episode, which, oh man, I was horrible back then, but go back and listen to the very first episode and listen to them all. That way you're better prepared for your crowdfunding campaign when it comes time to hit that launch button. All right, so let's kick it off with our question of the day. Brandon?
At Crotch Hex asks via Reddit, why are there so many playing cards Kickstarters? And why are they so well funded?
Playing cards and Kickstarter, and why are they well funded? Playing cards, for those that are not familiar with what she's talking about like a deck of cards, right? Like a lot of artists will do their own artwork on the back of a deck of cards and they'll put it on Kickstarter, and they do get great funding. Some of them crush it, they're in the 60, 70. I've seen, I don't want to say I've seen it over 100,000, but I wouldn't be surprised if I've seen a $500,000 campaign off playing cards. And reason that they're so successful, one, it's a cheap product, it's cheap to buy, it's like $7 or $8, and if you're backing a friend's project and you have to back his $492 drone or his $7 playing cards, of course it's going to be a lot simpler for your friends and family to pay $7 to $8 versus $492. That's one reason why they do so well in funding. The second reason is take a look at their campaigns, see if this is their first campaign, because chances are they've run multiple campaigns. And what you have is you have a bunch of crowdfunding creators out there that have they're kind of gaming the system. They kind of understand how crowdfunding works. They've run a few campaigns, and they're going to continue to run these crowdfunding campaigns. I've said before on this show that I love these products. One, they're super cheap. How much does it cost to get a deck of cards made? And then how much does it cost to get the print on the back of a deck of cards that you want, whatever you design? So it's cheap, it's easy to run a crowdfunding campaign for these cards. It's got a huge, they mark the price up a lot more than it really is. It probably costs them like 50 cents a deck of cards to make, and then they're charging you $9 to $12 for those cards. So it's got a high return on it. That's another reason why you see so many deck of cards. And what happens is these creators start building an audience. Their very first campaign, whatever it might have been, or their second campaign or third campaign, however many campaigns they run, they just go back and they post an update to their previous backers that says, hey, take a look at this cool deck of cards that I've built and that we're running a crowdfunding campaign for. It's only $7 or $8. You backed us last time at this amount. Why not back us again at $7 or $8? So what they're doing is they're running repeated crowdfunding campaigns, building their audiences through Kickstarter, through INDIEGOGO, and then they're trying to get the smallest, cheapest product that they can run a crowdfunding campaign for, which would be that deck of cards. And then whenever it blows up, or they use the same backers from before and they make more money, it's a great return, and now we're going on vacation. I hope that answers your question as to why a deck of cards does so great on Kickstarter and INDIEGOGO. And as for our question that we're going to ask for the question of the day for the comments, what is the cheapest product that you've ever backed on Kickstarter? Since we're talking about this deck of cards and how cheap they are and like how easily it is to make, what is the cheapest, the absolute least or the minimum amount? I'm not talking a $1 pledge either. I'm talking where you actually got the reward that you wanted. What was the cheapest price that it was on Kickstarter or INDIEGOGO? Answer in the comments section. Happy crowdfunding. Happy New Year. ZACBOB out.